This week at Bungie, we're determining whether or not we are worthy. Or, I guess more accurately, whether or not this game is worthy of your time. What's going on, Guardians? My name is The Black Link, and today, of course, tonight, at the time of this recording, is Thursday, March 12th, 2020, and it's time for another issue of the Bungie Weekly blog, This Week at Bungie. This week, of course, we had the release of the Season of the Worthy, and along with that came a lot of news, a lot of new activities, and a lot of community feedback, shall we say, about, admittedly, some of the questionable decisions that were made in Destiny 2 Season 10. There's talk of emblems and stat tracking, trials of Osiris, the overall lack of pinnacle rewards to grind for over the course of this season, and even more. And thankfully, a lot of that does get addressed in this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly blog. Indeed, as a matter of fact, community feedback, our response to the new things that have dropped and the changes that were made in this season, seems to be of primary concern to the developers over at Bungie. And they spend quite a bit of time in this week's TWAB talking about that. Here's one of the things they had to say. Before we embark on the first TWAB of the new season, we'd like to acknowledge some feedback that we've been seeing in the wild. We had a large change to emblems and stat trackers, which we'll be talking about later in the TWAB. We're also seeing some discussion on the new weapons of the season and lack of ritual weapons for Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit. The team is currently reviewing and discussing the feedback, and we will be looking to talk about our goals for weapons in a future TWAB. There are a variety of other topics, from Eververse to armor mods, which we're collecting feedback on and discussing internally as a team. Thank goodness for that. While we don't have any specific changes to announce at this time, we wanted to make sure you know that we see the feedback and are actively discussing this internally. Once we have more information, we'll be sure to let you know. So there we go, and I am very happy that they're addressing a lot of the community concerns there. Of course, a lot of people are really upset with the way they've made changes to emblems and stat tracking. A lot of people who had, some golden stats they wanted to have up, whether it was their glory score, kill counts, or whatever. The stats, of course, got completely revamped with emblems in the Season of the Worthy. And it was kind of a change I don't really think too many people were asking for, and thankfully they go on to explain more about that a little bit later in this TWAB. But I am very happy to see that they're at least listening to the feedback that we're giving as a community, and hopefully we'll be changing things moving forward. But anyways, moving on with the TWAB. Of course, this week, well, by the time you're watching this video, it might already be live. Trials of Osiris is officially returning to the game. The first weekend of Trials is officially upon us, and like I said before, by the time you're watching this video, it might already be live. We of course got a new gameplay trailer for Trials that shows off a lot of the new weapons, stuff like the Scholar, the Summoner, a lot of classic Destiny 1 Trials of Osiris weapons that have made their way back into Destiny 2. And now, for anyone who's not familiar with Trials of Osiris, here's a quick rundown of what you can expect from the event. The game mode is 3v3 elimination, using the exact same rules showcased in the last few seasons. The key difference is that Saint 14 will be calling the matches, and now your power matters. You must be 960 power to participate. Your Trials passage, or your card, is your ticket in. Try to get as many wins as possible before you hit 3 losses and have to start over. Earn a flawless victory by winning 7 matches with no losses. You can reset your Trials passage at any time by accessing the item in your quest or on the Trials of Osiris activity node. One change from the previous Trials of Osiris is that there are no boons that you'll need to purchase and apply. Instead, there will be 5 different Trials passages that you can choose from that will offer different bonuses built in, like forgiving 1 loss per run or granting bonus experience from wins that increase with the number of wins on a ticket. Players will also be able to earn Trials tokens to turn into Saint 14 to increase their reputation and earn Trials engrams. Any tokens that a player doesn't spend that week will be removed when Trials ends at the next weekly reset. So spend them if you got them. There's no need to hoard Trials tokens. You can only use them on the weekend that you earn them. Finally, of course, Trials is seeing a bit of a different series of matchmaking changes to most of the normal Crucible. Trials is generally going to match you with opponents based on your connections and how many wins you have logged into your current passage. This back in the day was known as card-based matchmaking, so it's going to try to pick other teams who have the best connection to you first. We'll see exactly how that works with Trials. We all know how this matchmaking system goes in Destiny 2, but I have high hopes for it. But it's also going to try to match you with people who are on a similar number of wins on their card. So if you're on win number 5 or 6, expect to get some sweaty people looking to get their final couple of clears. But beyond that, that's everything you need to know about the start of Trials of Osiris. If you haven't already, go and speak with Saint 14 in the tower. So long as you're 960 light, he'll have a quest for you that will get you access to Trials when it goes live tomorrow at reset. Again, I am very excited for the return of Trials of Osiris, and of course, there have been a lot of questions about cheating going on in that game mode. Thankfully, Bungie pushed out a series of bans recently, specifically done in preparation for Trials of Osiris. Their security team has been hard at work, bopping people who are being, well, less than honest, so we'll say, in the Crucible environment. They've also integrated new server-side security features that have hardened their network layer to make it more resilient to network manipulation. In particular, looks like as of the Season of the Worthy, Destiny 2 now appears to be utilizing Steam network sockets, which basically means that your personal IP is now hidden from other players and you generally can't be DDoSed quite as easily as you used to be. If that happens to be the case, then we should see much less cheating and DDoSing this time around when Trials goes live. Very happy about that. But alright, that's pretty much all the information we have about Trials of Osiris. I wish you Guardians luck on your trip to the lighthouse starting tomorrow. Hopefully you can get it done throughout the weekend. But alright, now that that's done, let's get back to talking about feedback for this season. The next section of the TWAB in particular is talking about trackers and stats and emblems. Of course, we had a lot of big changes with this when Season of the Worthy went live. And a lot of people, myself included, don't really like the changes that they've made and don't really understand why they made them in the first place. Thankfully, we get to hear exactly what the philosophy behind these changes were, what they think they've done wrong, and how they're going to be trying to fix things and maybe respect player time and prior stats a bit more in the future. Here's what Bungie had to say. In Season of the Worthy, all emblems have been converted to use our new stat trackers. That means all emblems will be inspectable and can have trackers equipped or not. When designing this system, our overall goal is to provide players more ways and options to show off their accomplishments. Our first selection of stats were determined by prioritizing stats that represented a skill that could be improved week over week or season over season, and be an accomplishment that players would want to display that was meaningful to other players. Because of that, some stats that couldn't be completed or improved any longer weren't included. We believe in these requirements in principle, but strictly applying them retroactively unfairly removed your ability to show off accomplishments that you could flaunt in seasons prior. It was a change made with good intention, but was the wrong way to roll out a new system. We've identified some stats that can be added back in a future patch and wanted to share them with you. We are currently planning to add these stat trackers back in an update later this season. Alright, and here's what they're changing in the future. For seasonal lifetime stats, Season 8 Season Pass rank earned, Season 9 Season Pass rank earned, and total fractal line donated. For lifetime account stats, they're going to be showing off your kills as a Sentinel, Striker, or Sunbreaker Titan, an Arcstrider, Night Stalker, or Gunslinger Hunter, or of course your kills as a Stormcaller, Dawnblade, or Voidwalker Warlock. For lifetime stats in the Crucible, they want to show off your gold medals earned, your longest glory win streak, and your total valor resets. That last one, I have no idea why they didn't just make that a standard thing if they really wanted to show off statistics with these new emblems. Crazy. Then, after that, lifetime destination stats. The Pit of Heresy solo flawless completions. The list isn't complete yet, and we plan to add to it before the update is released. As a note, none of the stats that were previously tracked have been lost. We're still storing them all. Some stats would take a bit more work to return to the fold, and we'd love to see more player feedback to help us prioritize which you'd like to see return in the future. Feel free to sound off on the Bungie.net forums, Destiny the Game subreddit, or even Twitter. We've got eyes everywhere. And in particular here, they want to know which emblem stats you find most valuable. So head to all those locations there and talk to Bungie's representatives there. The community managers are incredibly active. They've been really good about responding to people right now. So if there's a stat that you feel was unfairly taken away, unfairly hidden from you, maybe something you were really proud of, make sure you go and let them know. In the most respectful way possible, of course. But there we go. That's pretty much it for the biggest bits of information to drop in this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly blog, This Week at Bungie. Very happy that they're responding to the stat tracking issue that's going on right now, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing what they have to say about ritual weapons. I'm one of those guys who's sitting back and saying, what exactly am I grinding for over the course of this season? Don't get me wrong, there's some stuff that I definitely want to play. I'm enjoying the Seraph Tower public event, when people are actually playing it and actually playing it right. I like the whole Seraph Bunker thing. I think they might have relied a little bit too much on bounties to get your Warmind bits. I don't know why you don't get more, like a significant amount more of the Warmind bits for completing the public event itself. It seems a little bit weird that people are relying on bounties for that. But I definitely disagree with the no ritual weapons outside of the Iron Banner bow for this season. I kind of look at that and say, okay, well, what exactly am I going to be grinding for? What are people going to be looking for and pushing through to get over the course of this season from Vanguard, Crucible, and of course from Gambit? So I'm very interested in hearing what they have to say about that particular bit of feedback, along with a lot of the other stuff that's going on right now. There's still a huge conversation going on about armor, about mods, about Eververse especially, and I really hope that they don't go radio silent on some of these things moving forward. But that's it for this one, Guardians. That's the news, and those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But I'm out for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty, and we'll see you in the lighthouse tomorrow.